So, um, I wanted to share this today because I know how challenging it is for all of us right now. We all interact with clients in different ways, whether on the phone or working on cases or even on the comms team and interacting with folks on social media. So one of the things that I've been reading about and learning about more is trauma stewardship, which I know a lot of you are already familiar with, and probably are experts in it far more than I am. But I'm hoping that maybe folks can take away a couple things from this presentation that might help you in your work. So, as we get started, I just invite everyone to take a deep breath and ground into your body and arrive in this space. Trauma stewardship is the daily practice of caring for ourselves, others, and the planet while responding to the suffering around us. Oops, it looks like it's not. There we go. Um, this quote is from the book Trauma Stewardship by Laura von Dernert Lipsky. Hopefully, I'm not butchering her name. Trauma stewardship is a framework for caring for ourselves while we care for others. It recognizes that exposure to others' trauma changes us. Looking at this is not self indulgence, it's sustainable justice work. I know that for all of us who show up to do work that cares for others, it can be hard to think about our own needs, our own well being, but it's really important. The core ideas are awareness, balance, and responsibility, holding stories of injustice without being consumed by them, remembering we're advocates and not therapists or case managers. Excuse me. Setting boundaries keeps you and your client safe. So, trauma stewardship incorporates the five directions framework. We start with the North. So, we start with a sense of questioning, inquiry, noticing how the work affects you, how it shows up in your body. Moving to the East, we think about focus. So, we have a limited amount of energy and time in our day. So, one way to retain agency is choosing where your energy goes and where it might best serve. South is compassion, cultivating kindness for yourself and others when the work gets hard, and it will. Um, West is balance. Kind of building all of this or on all of this, we maintain healthy rhythms and boundaries. And finally, the center direction is practicing keeping all of this in mind and staying grounded in what nourishes you. Why this work matters. You help people at moments of vulnerability or crisis. You turn frustration into hope and confusion into clarity. You bear witness to the struggles our clients face. Your work and your well being matter. It's important that we remember how important the work we do is, especially at this time when we know people are losing access to resource and support. And in holding that and seeing all of that, your well-being really matters. It can take a toll for sure. On that note, the impact of bearing witness, it can be challenging. We know our staff hear stories of abuse, neglect, and exclusion. And some of us encounter this multiple times a day. Over time, this can lead to emotional exhaustion, cynicism or numbness, and a loss of hope. I just want to reiterate these are very human responses. They are not personal failings. Everyone will experience the impact of bearing witness differently, depending in part on the identities you occupy. So, for example, if you're talking to a caller or working on a case where you share lived experience, it can hit harder. So please be compassionate with yourself in that circumstance. Expecting yourself not to have certain feelings is like asking your body not to need vitamin C. You don't get to choose whether or not to have feelings. You may choose to ignore them and may even manage not to experience them, but they will be in your body anyway. Feelings are our friends. They warn us of danger and allow us to enjoy pleasure. They inspire us to correct injustice and repair damaged relationship. So I love this quote. It's from Patrice Jones in their work, Aftershock Confronting Trauma in a Violent World, a guide for activists and their allies. And if you are at all like me and like to nerd out on trauma and mitigating its impact, I have a pretty long resource list at the end of this presentation. So the trauma exposure response, some warning signs include feeling helpless or overly responsible for those we serve, guilt for not doing enough, exhaustion or irritability, and disconnection from loved ones. As much as we are able, recognizing these signs early and responding with compassion helps. Also, as we can, remembering to stay present. If you can take a moment to pause when calls or interactions are intense, that will help you recenter, ground yourself by taking a deep breath. It can reset your nervous system. And as you're able, respond from awareness, not reaction. Remember, presence is compassion and boundaries. Be gentle with yourself. I'm going to say that a lot. I think it's an important reminder. So, some ways to manage your own emotional load. Remember, compassion fatigue is real. It is hard to show up day after day after day, listening to the challenging things that are going on in the world. Take breaks, debrief with colleagues, and seek supervision. Remember, you are a steward, not a savior. We know that there's so many more things than we can solve, so we do what we can. True advocacy is consistent care, not burnout. We can't serve justice if we're empty. Some practical ways to care for yourself while you do this work. And keep in mind that we are all unique individuals, so different strategies will work for different people. Some options are take 3 deep breaths between calls or when working on challenging cases. Reflect on one success daily. As you can, step outside or stretch, share gratitude with a teammate. Remember your capacity. You are not your caseload, and build connection with peers. We sustain each other. We need each other in this work. Remember the basics. Think of these suggestions like a self-care buffet. Take what you want and leave the rest. I know we are all familiar with this information. So this is just a reminder or permission to take care of yourself. So adequate caloric intake, this is something that, in my opinion, in our fat phobic culture, doesn't get talked about enough, but not eating enough can contribute to depression and anxiety. So as you can, take time to feed yourself, aim for balanced nutrition as much as you can. Take time to be present for meals. This promotes good digestion and helps your body assimilate nutrients. Get out in the sunshine. This is especially important, I think, during these winter months when a lot of us might be prone to seasonal affective disorder. Get plenty of restful sleep, drink your water, get some movement as you can. I know we're all busy, extra busy right now. If you can get up from your desk and walk around the dining room table if you're working from home, walk around the office, maybe even just pop out, walk around your block, that really helps. And finally, take time for regular, pleasurable activities. Think about what brings you joy and how can you find time for it. Repeatedly witnessing and supporting those going through trauma can leave our nervous systems stuck in activation mode, otherwise known as sympathetic nervous system dominance. To get back into a more relaxed or otherwise known as rest and digest mode, and this is a parasympathetic nervous system, some of the following things can be helpful. It's important to return to a parasympathetic nervous system state because this is where our body repairs tissues and assimilates nutrients. So, some good tools for supporting the parasympathetic nervous system are deep diaphragmatic breathing or breath work, forest bathing, just finding some woods close by and taking in nature, plants, other animals, finding time to rest. If meditation works for you, either traditional or a walking meditation, those help. Finding time to laugh, sing. Relaxing smells actually activate something in our brain that makes our body feel safe. So you could use aromatic herbs, an oil diffuser, incense, or just flowers. And as much as you can, limiting exposure to blue light before you go to bed. I know we all are pretty chained to our phones, so think harm reduction. Again, this is not an admonishment. This is just suggestions. Engaging in this work inevitably brings loss, and it's really important to mourn these losses. We can metabolize emotions stuck in the body, support grieving and mourning practices through ritual and ceremony, engage in art and meaning making, finding somatic practices to move stuck grief. If you're not familiar, there's a link there you can check out after the presentation. Again, engaging in breath work. Keening, this is something that was new to me. It's a Scots-Irish grief practice with like mournful wailing and singing, or any song or music that speaks to you. In our organization, creating a culture of care is really important. Stewardship is collective, not individual. Organizational support matters. So, as we can, regular debriefs, trying to work towards reasonable workloads, finding humor and connection, and remembering we're in this together. Recovery is based on empowerment and creation of new connections. It can happen within the context of relationships, not in isolation. As for organizational support, a reminder that DRNC values your emotional safety. Engaging in regular check-ins, supervision, and peer support are part of trauma stewardship. Asking for help is not weakness, it's a sign of strength. And remember, we have our employee assistance program. I've put up the employee resource line. And if you're in the office, you can use the wellness room for a timeout or quiet or low sensory time. It's really important, again, in this challenging work to celebrate our successes, no matter how small. Every resolved issue matters. A student gets services, a tenant keeps housing, a worker receives accommodation. You are part of real change. You touch people's lives and help them so much. The work you do is incredibly important, especially right now. So please celebrate the wins as you can. And finally, I know this can feel really hard, but finding joy, even when life is stressful, there are ways to cultivate moments of joy. Joy is an essential way to renew ourselves in uncertain times. Psychological strategies that promote joy can have a positive impact on our physiology and overall well-being. We may find it difficult to prioritize joy, but joy is a trauma-informed practice. Regularly cultivating joy helps boost creativity, and this can facilitate finding innovative solutions for our clients. We can do meaningful work in a way that works for us and those we serve. Another great quote from Laura Van Dernet Lipsky. Again, hope I'm not butchering her name. Just some closing reminders. You are part of a movement for dignity and justice. Caring for yourself is part of the movement. When we sustain ourselves, we sustain the work. Listening is an act of love, and advocacy begins with listening. Thank you all so much for doing what you do, for showing up with empathy, professionalism, and courage every day. You inspire me. I've learned so much from the staff, and I hope that I've shared something today that will help you in your work. If you have any more questions, want to find out some more about the things I've gone over, there's a number of resources here. One thing I thought was really interesting is an article I've linked, Shifting from Trauma Informed Care to Healing Centered Engagement. This was new information to me, and I encourage you to check that out. So, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now. Or if you just want to chat, that's fine too.
I just want to say that your presentation is too short. I want some more.
You want some more?
I want you to one day expound upon joy creation and some ideas about doing that. Okay, so
I love
I may
that. Yeah,
put
I
you.
would be happy to. Actually, I was going to pick your brain. I've been watching different DJs, and it looks so joyful and also so challenging. So I want to hear about that someday.
No, okay, I'll be glad to share with you. I've had some challenging times, but some mostly wonderful times because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have a great the stewardship piece
yeah,
is
yeah.
making sure everybody has a good time.
That's right. That's right. That's hard. Anything else? I can stop recording too.